Factsverse presents The Final Doors Are Closing in 2020. We all have our favorite restaurants. Many people have a favorite chain restaurant and even a favorite dish. Sadly, times are changing. Between expensive overhead, not enough customers, and even scandals, some of our favorite restaurants might be going out of business. Here are a few restaurants that might be closing their doors forever very soon. Ruby Tuesday was once very popular. Most major American cities had a Ruby Tuesday at least at one time. When the CEO, J.J. Buchan, resigned in 2017 and the chain was sold to NRD Capital, it triggered the closing of many restaurants. Since 2009, though, restaurants have been closing, but things got a lot worse in 2017, and over 400 locations have closed. Every year, more than one restaurant's been closing. Hooters changed the restaurant industry when it began. They brought in gorgeous women in low-cut tops to serve their customers, and people really embraced it. Since 2010, though, their sales have declined. It's believed that the sales model is not connecting with the new generation. Millennials are more interested in good food than the way their server looks. And they've closed a lot of locations, and they've been working on a new restaurant concept. It's going to be called Hoots, and it'll feature modestly dressed women. That's the company's last-ditch effort to save a dying brand. Subway's had some problems over the past few years. Of course, it all started with former spokesperson Jared Fogle. He was arrested and went to prison for possession of child pornography. That, combined with the fact that people now worry more about what they're eating, Subway has lost 25% of its customers. To try and turn things around, Subway has updated its logo and started using better ingredients. They say they're now using antibiotic-free chicken, cage-free eggs, and fresher vegetables. Subway does have some great sandwiches, so hopefully the company will be able to turn things around soon. Pizza Hut was one of the most popular pizza restaurants in America. Yours truly actually managed one for a short time. Today, it's one of the worst pizza places in America. The quality of the food and the menu has been considered poor. The only thing that's kept every single Pizza Hut from going out of business is its parent company, Yum Brands. It has enough money to keep Pizza Hut going, but still the chain is not generating much of a profit. If something doesn't change soon, Pizza Hut might have to close so the investors can keep more of their money. Bob Evans is known for its Southern-inspired food. People loved their hearty breakfast platters, the chicken pot pies, and the biscuits. In the mid-2010s, sales started to decline, though. In 2016, many locations closed. Bob Evans was bought by a private equity firm called Golden State Capital, and since then, the restaurant has improved its menu and added entrees with more fresh ingredients. And that has helped a little. Golden Gate Capital also owns Red Lobster and California Pizza Kitchen, and they have made changes with those restaurants as well. They want to make sure that all of their investments are turning a profit. Best of luck to them. Papa John's has been losing money for a few years now, but when the company founder, John Shanator, made disparaging racial comments in 2018, things got really bad. Since then, he has been removed as the head of the company, but things kept getting worse when rumors of a negative work environment started circulating and made the company's problems astronomically bad. If the public continues to protest as it is now, the company might eventually have to close its doors forever. The original Buffalo Wild Wings opened in 1982, but the current franchise model has only been around since 1998. The reason the restaurant has been failing recently is due to the rising cost of chicken wings. Because young people would rather order takeout or get food from delivery services, the chain is struggling to maintain a high sales volume. In 2017, Buffalo Wild Wings was bought by the parent company that owns Arby's. Since 1965, Tgi Fridays has been one of the most popular casual dining restaurants in the U.S. They're famous for their drink specials, appetizers, and burgers. Thanks to Chipotle, though, and PDQ, the company has been having a few problems. They tried to turn things around with the endless appetizer promotion, but this doesn't do anything for the customers who order off the regular menu. According to Yelp, customers who chose the endless appetizers would often receive slower service. Things are bleak right now for Tgi Fridays, but hopefully they can turn things around. The Cheesecake Factory is having problems because the younger generation is now more health-conscious. The food, of course, is excellent, but it's loaded with empty calories, and that's not what millennials are looking for. Also, the prices are pretty high, and many restaurants are located in strange places. Unless they start offering more healthy options, the Cheesecake Factory might not last much longer. Food scares are really bad for restaurants, and Chipotle has had several in the last few years. When dozens of customers were victims of the chain's E. coli breakout, it became national news. After the breakout, the chain lost plenty of its customers. They're now working on new food options and high-tech ways to make ordering and delivery easier. Unfortunately, people just can't get past the E. coli scandal, and fewer people are eating there. If they can't find a way to turn things around, Chipotle might not last much longer. Chili's is known for their baby back ribs and the catchy song about them. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. You know what I'm talking about. And now that'll be stuck in your head the rest of the day. Anyway, over the last few years, Chili's has not been making much money, especially from millennials. In 2017, the company's stock dropped by 40%. Since then, the chain has worked hard to turn things around. They've revamped the menu. They also removed the clutter from the restaurant and created an open seating plan. They're hoping to turn things around before they start closing down restaurants. Jack in the Box is battling with McDonald's and Burger King, two significant players. Even Wendy's has better sales than Jack in the Box. To reduce costs, the chain has been closing stores. To prevent a large closure, they allowed Qdoba to buy them out. If people keep leaving for other chains, though, Jack in the Box is going to end up closing its doors for good. Bojangles is very popular in the Carolinas. The chain is really popular there, and that led them to expand to other states. But the company's not doing well in other states, and that's resulted in many of those locations closing down. The chain's inability to catch on in other states outside the Carolinas has caused a really big problem, but since Bojangles is still popular in the Carolinas, they do have a chance of keeping the doors open, if just in a smaller scale. Applebee's has been struggling since millennials are not huge fans of the restaurant. To try to attract millennials, the company invested millions of dollars in renovations. They also revamped the menu to make it more appealing to millennials. Despite all their efforts, though, the chain has not been able to turn things around. Since they can't get the millennials, they made changes to return to the preferences of its original baby boomer demographic. Sadly, more and more locations are closing every year. Noodles & Company has been closing a lot of stores recently, too. While stores are closing in some areas, the company's opening them in other, better locations. They're trying to keep the company lean and focused. That might not be the end of the chain, but if things don't work out, they could end up closing their doors. Time will tell. Carrabba's is facing some serious challenges. The chain is owned by Bloomin' Brands, which also owns Outback and Bonefish Grill. The restaurant has been declining over the years, mainly due to the quality of their food. People are looking for healthier options with higher quality. They're trying to make some changes by offering healthier options, but locations have already begun to close. Unfortunately, Bloomin' Brands is facing issues with other chains as well. If something doesn't change, the final doors will be closing in 2020. Polo Tropical is very popular in Florida, but they couldn't make things work in other parts of the country. They tried to open locations in other southern states, but they have all closed, all but one. The Polo Tropical in Atlanta, Georgia is still open. The company is doing a bit better since they downsized, but they might be in trouble since expansion is not a possibility. Ovation Brands owns several national buffet chains, including Old Country Buffet, Country Buffet, and Ryan's Buffet, as well as Hometown Buffet. The company filed for bankruptcy in 2016 and closed many of its locations. The employees received very little notice, too. The difficulties the company has faced is with new eating trends. Americans prefer smaller portions and freshly prepared foods. Those are things you do not get at a buffet. And finally, Qdoba's Mexican Grill. Their biggest problem is bad management. It does okay in the market, but they have missed out on plenty of opportunities due to poor management decisions. And that's hurt the brand a lot. The chain took another hit when the costs increased due to legislative changes. When Chipotle was dealing with several food crises, Qdoba could have jumped in and become number one. But they didn't. They lost the opportunity. A big mistake. Will you miss any of these restaurants if they close their doors for good? Tell us which ones in the comments, and subscribe for more.